come to today's session. Today we are going to learn control mechanism in plants. Last class I explained about control and coordination in animals. In animals, both nervous system and endocrine system are controlled and coordinated the body organs, the body functions. Whereas in case of plants, there is no nervous system in plants. Plants are exclusively depends on hormones. Plants are exclusively depends on hormones for coordination and control of their body functions. Plants also sense the light, gravity, wind, whereas water, touch, these external environmental changes can also be sensed by the plants. And according to that, plants are also respond like animals. But only the difference between the plants and animals are, in animals both nervous system and endocrine system is there, but in plants only the hormones. There in animals are very complicated. They move from one place to another place. In their daily activities they do very complicated tasks. So for that they have to be respond very quickly. So that's why for quick responses, in order to protect from the dangerous stimuli, they developed the nervous system. But whereas plants are, they do not move from one place to another place. They don't do complicated tasks in their daily life like animals. So that's why there is no need of respond very quickly like animals. So that's why in plants only we have hormones to control and coordinate their body functions. I'll tell you a few examples that you can able to know that plants are also respond towards the environmental changes. If you touch a touch me not plant, see the diagram. If you touch the touch me not plant, automatically the touch me not plant closes its leaves. After 20 or 30 minutes, again it will be open. I mean the leaves are becomes very stiff. So again if you touch, again the leaves are closed. So how it is happening? That is the response towards the stimuli. See, that is Mimosa pudica. What is the scientific name of touch-me-not plant? Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica. Touch-me-not plant. If you take this touch-me-not plant like this, and touch-me-not plants have pulvini. It has a swollen structure. It has a swollen structure. This is what called a pulvini. And this is the midrib, and these are the leaves. And if you touch the leaves, and automatically leaves are gets folded. Leaves are gets folded. How it is happening? What is the mechanism behind this? What is the mechanism behind this? I will tell you very clearly. This is a response towards the stimuli. This is the response towards the stimuli. This is, we call it as pulvini. Pulvini. In the pulvini, we have an intercellular spaces. And whenever the water is filled in the intercellular spaces, then automatically the cells becomes very stiff. Then the leaves are open. When we touch, then automatically electric impulses are generated over there. those electric impulses are leads to generation of some hormones, secretion of some hormones. Then automatically, because of that hormones, the water, the potential gradient is developed, and automatically the water present in the pulvini will be moved to the side. That means through the veins it will be moved to the beside cells. Whenever the water moves to the beside cells, automatically in the leaves it loses the stiffness and automatically the leaves are closed. Automatically the leaves are closed. So this is the mechanism occurred in the Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant. So by this we can say that the plants are respond towards the stimuli. Not only this, plants you might have been seeing bending towards the sunlight. The plants which are growing near the water, you may have seen that some of the creeper plants, they will be go and they will take the support of some wall or some host plant. So like that, and plants, when we sow a seed and plants germinate, first of all roots are initiated, then shoot is comes, then after that leaves are comes, so all are because of hormones. And after growing, before the commencement of summer season, the leaves are shut down, it is because of hormones. The fruits are ripened, it is because of hormones. So like that, all the activities in the plants are controlled by hormones. Every function of the plant is a hormone. Plant hormones are otherwise called as plant growth substances. Plant hormones are otherwise called as plant growth substances. Plant hormones, plant hormones are also called plant growth substances. Plant growth substances. Plant growth substances. Right? Now, plant growth substances, I mean plant hormones are first proposed by Charles Darwin and his son Francis. Plant hormones, I mean plant growth substances, plant hormones first proposed by Charles Darwin and his son Francis, and his son Francis also proposed plant growth substances, but they are not confirmed. The plant growth substances confirmed and it is discovered by another scientist, he is F.W. Wendt. So plant hormones confirmed or discovered. Plant hormones discovered by F.W. Wendt. So these are the things. Now we'll go to see about the plant hormones. In the plants, the hormones are secreted in various regions of the plant. I mean various parts of the plant. In all the parts of the plant, the hormones, different hormones are secreted. Mainly there are 5 types of hormones discovered in the plants. That is first one, auxins. Second one, cytokinins. Third one, gibberellins. Fourth one, abscisic acid. Fifth one, ethylene. Now we are going to be explain about auxins and their functions. Auxins are produced in the meristematic tissue. Auxins are produced in the meristematic tissue. Whereas auxins means it is a Greek word. Auxin means first hormone discovered in the plants is auxin. Auxin is a Greek word. It means to increase. Plant hormones, first of all auxins. Auxins are, it is produced in the meristematic tissue. Auxins are produced in the meristematic tissue. You are learned in the 9th standard. The plants, they'll have the tip regions. The tip regions are present in both roots and of course the shoot. This is the meristematic tissue. And the tip regions, it is consists of meristematic tissue. The tip region, this is the tip region. It contains a meristematic tissue. The meristematic tissue, it contains, that means it secretes this particular hormone that is called as auxins. Auxins are responsible for cell elongation and differentiation of root and shoot. I mean, auxins, they are responsible for cell elongation. See, cells, whenever they formed, initially they are small in size. When it is growing with the progress of time, the cells, that means the small sized cells will be elongated and they become into large. Okay, so how it is gets elongated? By losing the cellulose network. They elongate the cells. For losing the cellulose network, we need an hormone that is auxin. So auxins are, by losing the cellulose network, it is elongate the cell. As a result of it is responsible for the growth of the plant in a longitudinal axis. So it is also useful for differentiation of root and shoot. That means when we grow, when we sow a seed in the soil, automatically the seed inside the cell, it is gets divided, and then first the roots are initiated and then shoot is later it is gets initiated. That cells are differentiated into root and shoot. See, if you sow a seed, then automatically, seed means it is a single cell. It is gets divided and then automatically these cells, a few cells are generated and it is becomes into a root. Then a few cells it is become into a shoot. How it is? That is, differentiation is occurred here. The differentiation is mainly occurred by the auxins. Auxins are responsible for the differentiation of root and shoot. Now let us go to see about cytokinins. Cytokinins are the another hormones. They are produced in all the parts of the plants. Mainly cytokinins are useful for promote the cell division. Promote the cell division, and I mean it is increases the cell division, sprouting of lateral buds. I mean, you see, if there is any plant, in the plants we have an buds. What are those buds? That is terminal buds and lateral buds. Terminal buds and lateral buds. Where is these buds? I mean, sprouting of lateral buds. The lateral buds are present here on the stem. The lateral buds. The lateral buds are automatically they are get sprouted, and if it is a vegetative bud, then automatically branches are developed. If it is a flowering bud, automatically flowers are bloomed. Delay the aging of leaves. Cytokinins are also useful for delay the aging of leaves. How it is? See, it is promoting the cell division. When the cells are dividing continuously, automatically age gets increased. It delay the age. That means it delay the leaf senescence. It delay the leaf senescence. Promotes the age of the leaves. Promote the age of the leaves. I mean, it keeps the fruits and flowers and leaves, vegetables fresh for the long time. Fresh for the long time. Delay the aging of leaves means it keeps the fruits and flowers fresh for long time. That is the use of cytokinins. Next, it is also useful for opening of stomata. See, these are the stomata. Stomata, generally what happens? See, this is the stomata guard cell and this is another guard cell. A central opening, that is stoma. Generally, stomata, this is in opening condition. Now this is in closing condition. There is no gap in between the cell. It is stomata are closed and here it is open. So stomata are open. This opening of stomata is also regulated by the hormone, that is cytokinin. Cytokinins are useful for opening of stomata. It opens the stomata. Now let us go to see about third hormone, gibberellins. Gibberellins are also, it is secreted in all the parts of the plant. It is useful for germination of seed. Means if you are sow a seed, then automatically if you are spray the gibberellins on the seeds, then automatically seeds are germinated very quickly. And it is also useful for stem elongation. I mean, see, auxins are useful for growth in the terminal part, whereas gibberellins are useful for growth in the internodal length. For example, if you see internodal length means here this is the plant. Internodal length means this is the node where the leaf is arises on the stem is called as node. The distance between the two nodes is called as internodal length. This is the internode. This is the internode. Internodal length. This is an internode. This is an internode. Here what happens? Gibberellins are promotes the cell division at the internodal length. Then automatically what happens? Stem length it is gets increased. Then this internodal length, next time what happens? This internodal length is increases as a result of what happens? The stem length is increased and plants grow in size. See, the internodal length here it is increased. Here it is initially here internodal length is less, but due to the gibberellins what happens? The cell division is occurred and internodal length is increased as a result of plant grow in size at internodal length. This is useful for growth in the terminal part, whereas gibberellins are useful for growth in the internodal length. Stem elongation is occurred in such a way. Next, flowering and fruit setting. During the flowering time, gibberellins are produced and it is useful for more formation of flowers, and it is also useful for fruit setting. More fruits are setted in the plants, it is because of gibberellins, and it is also useful for increasing the fruit size. It increases the fruit size. Nowadays we are making seedless fruits. Seedless fruits. This is, we call it as parthenocarpy. The seedless fruits is also formed because of gibberellins. Without fertilization in the flowers, the fruits are formed. Very big fruits are formed without seeds. It is because of gibberellins. Now, it is also useful for break down the dormancy of seeds. Very careful about this word. Break down the dormancy of seeds. What it means? Break the dormancy. Dormancy means it is inactive stage. Break the inactive stage of seed. I mean, if you sow a seed, is it immediately germinate? No. It takes some time. Seed to seed, it is different. It takes a little bit of time for germination. Until that, what it happens, even though we sow a seed, the seed it is present inside the soil in an inactive stage. When we pour water, automatically favorable conditions are occurred, and after that the seeds are germinated. Here for the seed germination it takes a little bit of time, but if you spray gibberellins over the seeds, then automatically it breaks the dormancy, means it breaks the inactive stage and makes the seeds active and useful for quick germination of seed. Break the dormancy of seeds means it is useful for quick germination. Quick germination of seeds. Quick germination of seeds. So this is about gibberellins. Now I'll go to say about abscisic acid. Abscisic acid, it is produced in the plants during the unfavorable conditions. Unfavorable conditions. In the plants, the abscisic acid, it is mainly useful for closing the stomata. See how it is. It is useful for closing the stomata. See here, it is in a closed state of stomata. It is open state of stomata. So, mainly abscisic acid, it is useful for closing the stomata. Why? Why it closes the stomata? Just now I said that is, this hormone is released during the unfavorable conditions. So, during the unfavorable conditions, water scarcity is occurred. Okay, if water scarcity is there, then what happens if the stomata are in open state? Then what happens? The water will be evaporated through stomata in the form of transpiration. So, in order to stop the transpiration, in order to prevent the water loss during the drought conditions and during the unfavorable conditions, the stomata must be closed. So that's why abscisic acid, it is secreted during the unfavorable conditions, during the drought conditions, and then it closes the stomata in order to stop the transpiration, in order to prevent the water loss. This is a very, very important thing. Next, it promotes the seed dormancy. See, this is. Gibberellins are useful for quick germination of the seed. But if you apply abscisic acid to the seed, it takes very long time for germination. I mean, it promotes the seed inactivation. That means it keeps the seeds in an inactive stage for the long time. Advantage because of this. Can you say what is that advantage? Yes, we can store the seeds for the long time. Okay. Generally, farmers, they will cultivate the crops and they will harvest the seeds and they will store these seeds for the long time. That means 1 year, 2 years. Then after that, these seeds they will use for the next academic years for the sowing and to have a next crop. So at that time, what happened? In order to store the seeds for the long time in an inactive stage, the abscisic acid is very, very useful. It promotes the seed dormancy, makes the seeds in an inactive state for the long time. So it is useful for storing of seeds. Next, it is also useful for shedding of leaves. See, abscisic acid, what happens? It is useful for shedding of leaves. Abscisic acid is formed in between. Abscisic acid hormone, whenever it is produced, and automatically it forms in a layer. For example, if we take, this is the stem and this is the leaf, this is the leaf, this is the leaf, then automatically whenever the abscisic acid is formed, when the abscisic acid is formed, then what happens? The abscisic acid forms a layer in between the stem and the leaf base. This is called as abscission layer. A-B-S-C-I-S-S-I-O-N, abscission. Abscission layer. This abscission layer, it is separates the leaves from the plant after some days, then automatically the leaf will be shut down. In the same way, the fruits are also shut down from the plants. It is because of abscisic acid. Abscisic acid promotes the shutdown of fruits and leaves. Now, last hormone, ethylene. Ethylene is a gaseous hormone. It is a gaseous hormone. It is a gas. It is a gaseous hormone. Ethylene is useful for the ripening of fruits. Means the unripened fruits or gets ripened is because of ethylene. You might have been observed when we keep the fruits in the dry grass, or when we keep the fruits unripened, one ripened fruit, if you are keeping an unripened fruits in the basket, then automatically all other fruits are also gets ripened. Do you know why it is? It is because the dry grass releases the ethylene gas. That's why when we keep the fruits in the dry grass, it is gets ripened. So it is useful for the ripening of the fruits. Students, let us see the plant hormones: auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, abscisic acid and ethylene. Auxins useful for cell elongation and differentiation of shoot and root. Cytokinins promotes the cell division, promotion of sprouts and then lateral buds, and delay the aging of leaves and opening of stomata. Gibberellins, as I said, germination of seeds, stem elongation, flowering, fruit setting and breakdown of the dormancy of seeds. Abscisic acid close the stomata and it is also useful for seed dormancy and promoting the age of leaves. And ethylene, it is useful for ripening of fruits. In today's class, we are explained about all the plant hormones, and we are also learned about the animals and plants. In animals, both nervous system and endocrine system is responsible to control and coordination, and whereas in plants, only hormones are responsible for control and coordination of the body functions. Now, we will have a small worksheet for the practice purpose. Which hormone useful for ripening of fruits? Second question, what are the functions of gibberellins? Third question, which hormone responsible for cell division and delay the aging of leaves? Fourth, which hormone useful for storing of seeds for the long time? Fifth question, what happens if there are no hormones in the plants? Next class, we will meet with the FW Wendt experiments and Charles Darwin experiments. Thank you.